I bought the Expanse Osiris Reborn's €80 Miller pack so I can try the beta, so you don't have to. Before we go into that, though, a bit of context. Let's be honest, at least 80% of players who loved the Mass Effect series loved it because of the story, the characters, and the world building. The gameplay was all fine, but none of that was groundbreaking, especially because they decided to become much more of an action game over time. And just to be clear, Mass Effect is my favorite series of all time. I'm saying this because of course we all got excited when Owlcat, the makers of tons of great CRPGs, announced a Mass Effect-like in the Expanse universe. We can't know if it will even come close to Mass Effect greatness before we see the full package, because you just can't get a sense of the story in a beta that's at least a year before release. With that in mind, though, there are a couple of things you can notice. The game looks a step above what I expected, and I'm saying that because Owlcat is still more of an A or AA studio than AAA. The combat also had more weight to it than I thought it would. You can really feel the impact of the bullets and of the explosion, which is great and really improves the moment-to-moment feel. Additionally, even though the gameplay was clearly early in the full game, it already felt tactical due to cover that breaks and things in the environment you can shoot to create AoE damage, but also due to the fact that you have quite decent control over your party members. There's also the zero-G combat. At points, you clamp onto the outside of the station with magnetic boots. There's no fixed up or down, and you can move around the hull to flank enemies while your weapons behave differently in the vacuum. Now, Mass Effect dropped you into vacuum and no atmosphere fights too. The difference is that there, the vacuum barely changed anything. You moved and shot the same as you did with gravity and air. Here, the lack of gravity actually changes how a fight plays out, and for a first attempt at this kind of game, it works. Don't get me wrong though, it's not Gears of War level third-person shooting. It will feel slightly clunky. But that's not what I expect or need from a game like this. I want it to be a lot better than the combat in Mass Effect, and it definitely seems to be. So the moment-to-moment already left me fairly hopeful. It also looks like it leans more into RPG systems than Mass Effect did, going by the skill trees that were already in the beta, which hopefully gives an additional core reason to play this game on top of the story. Now, what I can say about the world building is that the conversations and the voice acting were of good quality. Of course not AAA level, but better than I expected. One thing worth flagging though, I played as the female captain, and her voice work was solid. The male protagonist got a lot more flack during the beta, enough that Owlcat already confirmed they're recasting it. So if you're planning to choose male, just know that part is still being reworked. Lastly, you could already see some of the different choices you can make. That said, don't expect it to be any different than in Mass Effect, as in, the path to the end might be different, but it will still lead to just a few different endings. So yeah, that was a short sneak peek into the Expanse Osiris Reborn. Overall, it left a better impression on me than I expected, and I'm more curious about the full game than I was going in. If you want something to hold you over, check out my video on Mass Effect in 2026, which is on screen right now. That was it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.